Hello, welcome to Kifach, a podcast created at the NS Qadi Iyad University. And it's a space to explore how people build their lives step by step in today's world. In this first episode, we're meant to answer the question of how can you choose your path when you don't even know where it leads? From salmon fishing in Alaska to teaching across continents represents an inspiring experience lived by our guests of today. But to discover more, we need to know who are you?
That's a big question, but I think lately I'm a surfer. I'm enjoying learning how to surf. I love to climb. I love to be in the mountains. I'm a sister and a daughter and a teacher, as you mentioned. And yeah, for the last year, I've been here in Morocco teaching for teacher education. And for 6 years before that, I was living in the Netherlands, also doing international teacher education. So I guess that's a small bit about who I am currently.
All right. So, you have spent several years fishing in Alaska, right?
Yeah.
And which is completely different from the education world.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us in which sense how?
Yeah. Well, so it's like normal insofar as many American university students when they're younger in
Mhm.
their bachelors
Okay.
will spend the summers working a lot, as much as they can,
All right.
to make and save a lot of money because, of course, tuition is very expensive in the US.
Right.
So the seasonal work in the summer, pretty normal. It's less normal to go all the way to Alaska for working on commercial salmon boats. But the opportunity for making money was a lot. Of course, it was also a huge adventure.
Okay.
I was meeting other young people from all over the world that would come from Russia, from Ukraine, from, oh my goodness, really all over the world, from China, from South America. So it was, yeah, half practicality, half adventure. Yeah.
So, I wonder if you had other opportunities or if you had other job opportunities at that time, and what made you choose this particular job rather than opting for something safer?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I'm honest, also like at the time I was studying, I left my pre-law major and I started studying history and philosophy. And so I
Okay.
was reading like a lot of this like philosophy about, discovery and the road less traveled. And I think like one of the big books for me was Desert Solitaire. And so I think I was also like inspired by this lore of like westward, go west
Okay.
and seek this adventure. And I was a little bit afraid of like just ending up in a mediocre situation. So I was chasing this big, dangerous adventure. Looking back, it
Mhm.
was probably little bit, I was pushing the envelope a little too much.
All right.
But yeah, it was great. And I'm lucky that, I didn't ever have any kind of event.
For how many years? For how many years did you have to?
Yeah,
For
it was for 9 summers, 9 seasons.
9 summers.
And so also to be
Okay.
fair, after I graduated, and I didn't really, I mean, I still continued to do it because it also made me feel strong and
All right.
empowered, right?
Okay.
So the reason for going evolved over time. First, it was practicality. Then it was this sense of adventure. Then it was this I felt probably at a time in my life where I felt insecure or I was doubtful. Alaska was a place where I felt really strong. Like I could do this strong work and make good money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were there other ladies with you in I mean who have opted for the same job?
No, no.
No. So were you the only
Yeah.
lady?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true
Really?
actually. Now, there's more. But when I
Okay.
first started going in 2000, oh boy, oh my goodness, 2007,
Okay.
there were really no other girls. There was one other much older woman that I
Right.
worked under for a period of time. But then once I started actually fishing on commercial salmon boats, it was all men.
Okay.
And then later on, I started to see more and more women were fishing on fishing boats.
Mm-hmm.
But, I never had any negative experiences. On the
Okay.
outside, it seems very terrifying. And indeed, there are some things that are dangerous about fishing in Alaska, but the aspect of being the only woman was not really a part of the danger.
Okay,
Yeah.
to put people in the picture,
Mhm.
can you mention just one or two dangerous things that you had to face?
Yeah. So I think one of the things was this. This was a moment where I decided I'm not going to do this anymore because so I worked on boats. They're called purse seiners, and they essentially create a big open purse that's like the size of a football field, essentially,
Okay.
and it scoops the fish up.
Okay.
And we had some old equipment
All
that
right.
this big other piece of equipment hung on.
Okay.
And I worked underneath it when I was hauling the gear back in, and I noticed it, and I said to my captain and to the three other crew that this line needed to be repaired,
Mm-hmm.
especially because I was standing under it.
Okay.
Well, we'll get it, next time we go into town, because you're really out on the boat for weeks at a time.
Yeah.
We'll get to it, or we'll repair the line, da da da. And then we went out one day when it was really windy,
Okay.
like really windy day, really high seas. And of course, it taxes these lines even more. And you can hear it, in the wind that it's under a lot of stress. And when you know it, the
Yeah.
boat hits a big wave
Oh.
and the cord snaps. And this big U-ring, it's called, comes flying down so close to the right side of my body that it nicks my rain gear.
Okay.
And if it would have fallen on me, it would have been, fatal.
Yeah.
And so I thought, no, this is
So
I'm
that
done with this.
so that was the point where you
Yeah.
had or when you realized that you had to stop
Yeah.
and okay.
Sure, because I didn't want to be injured or die on a fishing boat in Alaska. I was increasingly more interested in language, culture, linguistics. I
Yeah.
wanted to travel more, and it just wasn't, yeah, it was no longer worth it. So, yeah, it was a
Yeah.
close call.
All right.
Many more people are far more unlucky than I was, but that
Yeah.
was the moment where I thought, nah,
All right. Okay.
yeah.
So you studied philosophy, history, law, right?
So I
Before.
was a pre-law major, and
Okay.
I specialized in history and political science with a minor in philosophy.
All right.
Yeah.
And how did you move to applied linguistics?
Yeah, I started teaching actually,
Okay.
with my history background.
All right.
And I had a lot of, experience in the classroom. And then actually I realized that I didn't actually know how to teach. At that time, it was kind of like if you were a native speaker of English and you had a bachelor's degree,
Okay.
you could teach English.
All right.
Well, teaching English is a skill
It
that
is.
needs proper training.
Yeah.
So I realized that I needed actual teacher training, and I got my CELTA.
All right. Good.
And then from the CELTA, it was actually in Japan where I started to think, whoa, there's all of these cultural and cognitive influences that really drive language acquisition.
Mhm.
And that's what led me to applied linguistics.
All right. So after you had your CELTA and your diploma in applied linguistics, you
In history,
oh,
with in
uh,
history. Then after Japan, I went and did my master's in applied linguistics.
Great. So you had an experience of teaching in Japan,
Uh-huh, yeah.
Netherlands,
Russia.
Russia, and Morocco.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So how did this experience changed you or shaped your personality?
I think I something that I keep coming back to maybe more recently is that people everywhere are the same
Okay.
despite their culture. So, and I think that this makes me feel more connected to people anywhere I go. And this is like a kind of flexibility that's important if you're going to not just vacation to places, right? But actually travel and live in new places. You have to like have this understanding that at the end of the day, most people are good. Most people want to be helpful. Most people are searching for the same things in life. And it allows you to be much more flexible with different people you meet around the world, whether you speak the same language or not, whether you have the same culture or not, you
All
know?
right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So having to live and move from one country to another and adapt from one context to another. What are or what is what kind of culture shock did you have to face?
I mean, culture shock is it's all the time. I will probably have culture shock when I'm cycling home, after this after our discussion. But I did feel like when I uh came from the Netherlands to Morocco
Okay.
specifically, this was real culture shock,
All right.
I couldn't, often when you're in other places, you can hold on to something that's familiar, but Morocco is completely foreign.
All right.
I couldn't read anything. And also the pace, the chaos of Marrakech. I found it difficult to leave my apartment for the first couple of days. And I did call my father and say, like, Dad, what have I done? I've left my cozy life in the Netherlands where everything's perfect. And now I'm in Marrakech and I can't even figure out how to buy milk,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I feel uncomfortable haggling,
Mhm.
and this really was culture shock. It wasn't that it was Morocco. It was that I was um, carrying all of my own cultural baggage, experience, way of living from the Netherlands, and trying to make it work in Morocco, and it didn't work. It was
Yeah.
very. I had many like weird experiences, but I was being weird. I was the weird one. And as soon as I kind of sat back and relaxed and observed and realized that things here are different in the pace, in the greetings. You don't just go up and ask someone for something because efficiency isn't the most valuable thing. Connection,
Mhm.
a greeting is the most valuable
Mhm.
thing. And as soon as I started doing that, everything kind of melted away and I was able to relax and everything felt so much smoother. So you have this culture shock when you forget or you bring too much of your, yeah, kind of cultural baggage or expectations
Yeah.
to another place. So this was the most recent one and it was real culture shock, like I was
Yeah.
shocked.
Going back to your teaching experience, so you had to teach Japanese students,
Mhm.
Russians,
Yeah.
students from the Netherlands, and now Moroccans. Given the different
Yeah.
identities, what did you learn as a teacher?
Yeah, this is a nice question because when I say everyone is mostly the same, like on a human level, right? But
Yeah.
then it's like we learn different. Everyone learns different. Everyone has a different educational background. And then here it's very different. And I think I've been very humbled and in these situations I have to accept that I'm not the expert.
Hmm.
You walk into a classroom, the Japanese are going to show you how they learn just by being Japanese, and in their culture where there's more of a value on perfection, rather than fluency, right? They want to be accurate in how they speak rather than fluent, right?
Right.
And so you have to kind of set up the classroom in this way, right? Or maybe they don't thrive as much when you ask them to speak spontaneously. But if you give them time to practice, then they have a lot to say, right?
Okay.
Interesting compared to Morocco, where the students are really, they want to speak, and even if there's errors, they want to speak, with some exceptions. And so you maybe have to focus in a little bit more on the accuracy and the form, right?
Yeah.
So teaching in different places, I'm the expert insofar as like I know how languages are learned, but when it comes to the exact pedagogy, I kind of let them lead the way. And
Mhm.
then I will shape the class around however the education operates in that particular culture.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Having like you had to go through a lot of I will reformulate this. So have you had to go through any kind of uncertainty during your journey
Yeah, all the time.
all the time?
Time, I think. But naming it, like calling it,
Y-
saying it as it is, I think, sometimes we feel the pressure of always having to know, right? We need to know, we need a plan, we need to be confident about what we're doing. But I think the uncertainty is also a catalyst for growth, right? It's okay to be uncertain. It's okay to actually say to family or friends or colleagues that I'm not sure about this, but I'm going to go for it,
All
And
right.
if it doesn't work out, I'm going to try this, right? So I think my personality in particular, I probably have a lot of uncertainty. Should I have done this? Should I have done that? So the uncertainty is, I think, a way of preparing, right? When you make a decision and you're not so sure about it, I think it's easier to accept the consequences, even if they're not always positive, right? Even if it has a negative consequence. I think that this is okay. And being able to say openly, I'm uncertain about this. Yeah, I think it's it happens often. There were times of extreme uncertainty, um, self-doubt,
Mm-hmm.
comparing to what other people are doing and it being different than the path I chose. But that's okay. Uncertainty is okay. I think it's part of the process, part of the development, and seeing it through. If you make a decision you're uncertain about and it doesn't work out, seeing it through, I think
Mm-hmm.
is pretty valuable. Yeah.
Um, so Kathleen, given your whole experience, and I know we right now we have shared only few memories from your journey. Um, can you can you please tell what kind of person are you becoming right now?
Now,
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
I know, yeah.
yeah.
I think I'm all of this experience that I've been lucky to have, I think it's made me softer. Like it's softened I think I'm more patient. I think I'm more understanding. Maybe it goes back to I mean, I'm still pretty um intense and passionate, but I'm less severe in how I think about things or my opinions. There's a lot more space for how other people live, how other people see things. I can have conversations with people that probably 5 years ago I couldn't have had. And I can have conversations with people now today that I couldn't have had 2 years ago. So I've become, I think, more open and more malleable.
All right.
Being able to say like, "Ah, this is how it is here." Okay. Or this is what this person thinks. Okay. And I mean, every you can draw a line, if
Yeah.
some things are not okay for you,
Mhm.
all good, but I think overwhelmingly more softer, more empathetic, more patient, more flexible.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So coming to the end of the year,
Mhm.
this you're going to leave Morocco by
Mhm.
July, right?
Yep.
So um, I need to ask you two questions.
Okay.
The first question is, can you cite three values of yours at this point of your life? And the second question is, what are your future endeavors?
Like 3 words?
Yeah.
Okay. For that are values.
Yeah.
Lately, hope.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, so even when things really feel like they're not going to work out in your own individual life or on a much bigger scale, like if the world feels heavy and dark, to find the space for hope and to do things that make you feel hopeful, right?
Okay.
Like doom scrolling doesn't make anyone feel hopeful, or reading the news too much doesn't make anyone feel hopeful. So hope, also flexibility. I think Morocco is also taught me a great deal of flexibility, and I really value that, because we can get very rigid and stiff. So flexibility. And also a third one, I think also that I've rediscovered in Morocco that I'm not gonna lose when I go back to the Netherlands is humor.
Oh.
Humor, like
Mm-hmm.
almost everything is deserving of a laugh, especially things that don't go right. So like have a laugh or make a joke and move on. We don't have to become completely undone because things didn't work out.
Yeah.
And the Marrakchi in particular are quite good, I think, with
Yeah. They have a
humor.
good sense of
They do have a sense of humor.
the unknown. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are 3 values as of late. And then, of course, after Morocco, I'm heartbroken to leave. I will go back to the Netherlands, and I will continue teaching and working there. And then, maybe related to the softening of my heart, I think more and more about like maybe returning to the US, my home. My family is there, my friends are there, my language, my culture, which is also a kind of organic part of the journey, maybe. But who knows? I'm not attached to it, and I like that. I'm open to it, but we'll see. For now, the Netherlands, and I'm very grateful for that.
Great.
Yeah.
Kathleen, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for
It's
accepting our invitation. And we're really happy. We were really happy to have you and to listen to your experience. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you. Based on Kathleen's interview, we can highlight 3 main takeaways. The first one, grow comes from discomfort. In other words, success begins the moment you step out of your comfort zone. The second takeaway is there is no linear path. Through life, we try, we experiment, we evaluate, we fail, we succeed, and then we learn. The third takeaway is meaning in life is never static. Meaning in life evolves. Your meaning of life in your 20s is not the same in your 40s and definitely not the same in your 60s. So this is Kifach, not about perfect paths, but real journeys. Thank you very much for listening.